Time is one of the greatest resources, one of the greatest gifts to humankind. Time waits for no one. It's really fleeting, the way time moves by, the way it flies. Time means so much to me because my name is Ogechi. Oge being time and Chi being God, God's time. When I was younger, my mom would always yab me, if I were late or tardy with something, she'll be like, Ahagi Wogechi ne Woge. That is, your name is Ogechi and you're killing time and you're wasting time. And as I was scrolling through my phone, I just stopped mid-scroll and said, how we actually let time pass us by. Spending so much time on our screens, and it might be ironic that I'm doing this video on a screen, but I hope it's awakening something in us to think of how well we're using our time. I'm actually waiting for the husband who went to get something, and I've got some time on my hands, and I was just, mindlessly scrolling. I've been spending much more time on my phone of recent because as a locum GP, jobs have not been as forthcoming as they used to be. And I decided to do more of content creation, post more on my YouTube channel, my Instagram, my Facebook, my TikTok, because I believe I've got content to create and content to share. But the funny thing is, after I create this content, I go back to see what the reactions are and to see what other people are posting. And before I know it, I have spent an hour plus on my phone. When my phone gives me my weekly report, I'm like, God, did I spend this amount of time on my phone? And then I said, time is an investment. It's like energy. I can take it from that time. I can take it from scrolling excessively on my phone and creating. Hence, I am doing more of my crochet because what I'm planning to do by early next year is to launch my crochet clothing line. Yes, I have had to learn to divest because medicine is not as lucrative as it used to be. Maybe it's because of where I am at the moment and the current climate in the location that I am. But I wouldn't give up. I wouldn't go down under and say, oh, because there are no medical jobs, there's nothing else I can do. And I will always cherish my paternal grandmother, Lady Bridget Odocha, who would always push me to make sure there's something else I can do apart from my degree course, which is not medicine and surgery. So she made sure I knew how to cook. She used to bake as well. So small chops, she owned a restaurant. She was a businesswoman. One of the first women in Aba who were selling ice block in the 70s. So she was her own woman. And she made sure I had it at the back of my mind that I had to be industrious. I had to make my own money to be able to chart the course of my life the way I would want to. So I'm going to crochet for a bit. I've looked at my watch to make sure that the same amount of time I'm spending on the phone scrolling, I'm also spending it on the creative process. Because the more we create, we get our creative juices going. We get the creative part of our brains going because they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. And I'm so proud of myself because I actually learned how to crochet in secondary school. It's the coming to the UK, the boredom, that made me go and find a haberdashery shop, a crochet shop. And this was in 2012. I bought myself crochet pins, got myself wool, and started crocheting again. This project I'm working on now is a Christmas dress. It's actually one of my biggest and most ambitious projects. Normally, I stick to baby blankets, baby booties, mittens. But I said, you know what? I've been making for other people. Let me make something for myself. Let me make my own Christmas gift myself. So that is what I am working on right now, doing more of the creative process, doing more of stimulating my brain. So apart from this, which once I'm done 30 minutes, I've got a book with me as well. I got this book from the hospital when I went for the Trust Governors meeting yesterday. The Secret to Blessing, Super Life Codes by Ted Son. I want to start reading again. When I was in primary school, my primary school teacher, Auntie Happiness, called me a voracious reader, and it stuck with me. I used to read. My mom studied English in University of Lagos, and we have a very big library in our house full of all her books. I read Things Fall Apart as a child. I read The Gods, Arrow of the Gods. I read lots of Flora Nwapa's books, Buchi Eme Cheta, Frederick Forsyth writing about the Biafran War. Oh my God, Sidney Sheldon, even James Hadley Chase, and then we had so many encyclopedias. It's the encyclopedias that make me smile, because when we were much younger, we used to have Encyclopedia Britannia, and then, but when we started getting older, I'm sure my dad thought to himself, my kids need to also know about African history. He now got a collection of African encyclopedias. Who is who in Africa? And this is a culture that was passed down to my parents, because my mom's dad, late Chief Oyuduru, used to be a commissioner for political, I think, education. He was also a foremost principal of so many schools in old Imo State. He had his own library. And if you go to their house in Owerri now, the library is still there. And then my dad's dad, my paternal granddad, Chief Doctor John Odocha, was an accountant and a PhD holder. Both of my grandparents my granddads were PhD holders, and they had libraries. So they had their libraries. My parents had their libraries, and now I'm growing my own library. And it would be hypocritical of me to grow a library when I am not reading books. So what are the creative activities you do to combat excessive screen time, to keep your brain going, to keep away brain fatigue and cognitive decline? Because we need to do what we can to keep our faculties sharp as we age. Thank you.